crazy are you willing to look for the faith? How crazy are you willing to look as a Christian? How spiritually crazy are you willing to look? Well, if Jesus was able to look and act crazy to the Jews, who am I? Who were you? Hi, my name is Stephanie Odili. So today we're going to be answering the question, how crazy are you willing to look for the faith? And boy, are we in for a ride. So we know that we are workmanship. We are the workmanship and partakers of Christ, right? We have his life, we live his life, we have his spirits. So basically, Christ and his spirit is part of our DNA now as believers. So if Christ could say, whatever my Father does, so will I do, and so he has commissioned us to do, I am my Father's daughter. I will do everything that my Father did and more, because he's told me those who believe will do, this sign shall follow them, and more. So he's the only God ever to give us even more power than he would normally have. This is the only religion where God doesn't try to hoard who he is. He's the supreme God, but he loves us so much that he shares that authority so that we can do the same on earth here until we can join him in heaven. So we have to do things that might look crazy. And I say crazy because in this world, crazy means doing something out of the ordinary. So if that's what that means sometimes, then yeah, I would be crazy. I would be in a bus and I will preach. I will be in a car with an Uber rider who I don't know, and I will be willing to share the gospel with him. I will be in an environment where I'm asked to pray and I step up praying in tongues boldly. I will be in an environment where I have to see there's a sick person who needs healing, and I can confidently stretch my hands and tell that lame man to stand up. It's going to look crazy to someone who doesn't understand, but to us, we love to look crazy for Jesus. But now, of course, there are limits, but I'm not going to go there right now. I want to focus on those in the Bible who've done crazy things, who were willing to look crazy for the faith. Starting with Noah. There had never been rain as at the time Noah was building the ark. God just told him, build an ark. Maybe everyone thought, there's no record of this in the Bible. This is one of those things people have quoted, but really there's no proof in the Bible that people were mocking and laughing at him. It's nowhere in the Bible. Anyway, people must have been thinking, speculating, what is he doing? Why is he doing that? This is our own speculation because rain hadn't fallen yet. What are you doing? He looked crazy. Building a ship for 100 years. One so big to take animals and humans and withstand that amount of 40 days flood. Trust me, if that was happening today, maybe I would call him crazy too. I'm just joking. But really, he was willing to look crazy for the faith. What about Zacchaeus? This was a prominent guy. He was short, but he was prominent. Those two things don't go together, or they shouldn't be, but he was a short guy and he was an influential guy. He climbed the top of a tree. Picture it today. You see a man climbing the tree to see someone. People do it for celebrities. You do crazy things to get their attention. The point is, people were willing to look crazy. Zacchaeus climbed that tree so he could see and speak to Jesus. And trust me, God acknowledges crazy. Look at Abraham having confidence. Maybe he must have told a few family friends, it's not in the Bible, I'm speculating, that, I'm going to have a child. At 100, really? Nobody would have believed him. People are willing to look crazy for the faith and they are rewarded for it. Another example is John the Baptist. That reckless life he lived, all the things he was saying, they must have thought this one, like his parents had, had him late, maybe there were birth complications. They might have explained it away because he looked crazy. He would have acted crazy to them. But that was the forerunner of Jesus Christ, the one who had to baptize our Lord. Another person who looked crazy for the faith was David. David danced so much he was naked. I think we need to put these things in modern day context. Think about dancing so much, all your clothes go off. You're dancing in praise to God. You're somersaulting. You're doing the most. His wife saw him and was so disgusted, like, what is this man doing? He looks crazy. But for God, that wasn't crazy. And that was rewarded as such sacrifice to God. Another example you ask, Esther. Esther's husband, we don't always talk about the context of things, but Esther's husband was one of those tyrants, kings, impulsive. I mean, asking his first wife to just put on a show, come and dance for me and my friends. It was crazy. She knew he was crazy, but she just thought, look, I'm going to do a crazy thing by marrying this crazy man, and I'm going to do an even crazier thing by being humble, kind, loving, feminine, warm, and respectful to him. That is not the kind of man you do that for in today's world. That's the kind of man you walk away from. You label as men as scum. But that was who Esther decided to stay with, who eventually helped save her people. That was the crazy thing that yielded a result, didn't it? Another crazy person, so to speak, is Apostle Paul. Don't get me started. Apostle Paul was very unconventional. Christ himself was very unconventional. If you are unconventional for the Lord, stay with it. They will call you names. They would ask you why is your own too much. They will call you spirit coco. They will say those Christian people, too Christianese. They will say whatever. Stay on that course. As long as you're not being proud, legalistic, and you're not, being a hypocrite. Stay on that course. There is a reward for those who are willing to go all out for the sake of the gospel. No shame, no fear, no worry. Do what you have to do. Even Peter, I remember when he was jailed the first time, they released them telling them, go out and don't preach about Jesus again. Do you know what he did? Went out and continued preaching about Jesus. They just told you, but he was willing to look foolish, to disobey earthly authorities than to disobey heaven, than to disobey God. So my dear brothers and sisters, if crazy looks passionate, that's fine. Do what you have to do. I like looking crazy for the faith. I want to even be seen as, what's wrong with that woman? Well, I'm just drunk on Jesus, girl. That's just me. And I hope that is what you desire for yourself too. So be willing, be desirous, and preach the gospel. Do what you have to do to ensure and see that the kingdoms of this world bow down to the kingdom of our God. Thank you so much. Bye.